Today, we have two incredible human beings who not only have discovered how to work together in a dynamic relationship as husband and wife and create something extraordinary, but truly how to benefit the lives of others.
I got started in healthcare and started helping injured federal workers like the mailman, TSA, Border Patrol. I realized, wow, there's a huge need.
Husband and wife team is not always so easy, but you guys always seem to make it fun.
I handle everything inside the home, bills, construction, anything that you can think of. I handle all of that so he could focus on building the business. We're a team. I think that's what it is. We bounce off of each other and we complement each other. My weaknesses, he picks up. His weaknesses, I pick up.
When people come to me, to us, to our company, we turn it all around for them. In 2023, just under 7% of federal employees had an accepted injury claim. Are really only 7% of people hurt? Of course not.
Right.
At our company, it's 95%. And because of that, they get all their benefits, they get paid, they get back to work, and they don't feel like they need to kill themselves.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Lisa D. Murphy, and this is Elevate Wellness, where we talk about how you keep it going in all aspects of your life and keep it going all at the same time. And today we have two incredible human beings who not only have discovered how to work together in a dynamic relationship as husband and wife and create something extraordinary, but truly how to benefit the lives of others by helping them get what they want and get it in a very timely fashion. And they started Federal Injury Centers, and it is with my great pleasure that I introduce not only clients, because they are Mark's clients at Northeast, but they're dear friends, and we're developing a very profound friendship, especially as we get to know them better. They're just heart and soul and authentic people operating from integrity in a family business. And it is with my great pleasure that I bring both of you on camera. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jeanie.
Hey,
Hi, Lisa. Thank you.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
So what you do is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think by the title, people really understand the depth of what it is that you've created. So would you start first with the vision? How did that even come about? And what drove that passion?
Yeah. So about half a life ago, I got started in healthcare and started helping injured federal workers like the mailman, TSA, Border Patrol, any federal employee when they get hurt at work. And then after doing that for just over 20 years, I realized, wow, there's a huge need for doctors around the country. Almost no state had a doctor. And so me and Jeanie and our partners created this franchise, Federal Injury Centers, and we've been able to put offices, 65 locations in more than half of the states so far. And I think making a huge impact on the lives of federal employees. It's very rewarding for us.
It is.
And how did you begin working together? I know there's a lot of people listening. Husband and wife team is not always so easy, but you guys always seem to make it fun. So who started? How did Jeanie get on board? Whose idea was that? And how did you balance your family along with this fast-growing business?
Lisa, that is my favorite question that you're going to ask because it's my favorite story to tell. After I left that medical practice in Texas after 21 years, for an interim period, I was doing healthcare consulting for a firm out of Fort Lauderdale. And while I was essentially the director of operations for the healthcare consulting firm, Jeanie was doing sales and marketing activities for some of the clients. We didn't know each other. But my partner, Joe, told me over and over and over, you need to talk to this girl, Jeanie. And I found out that she was promoting a product that I didn't care about. And Lisa, I have a problem. If I don't care about something, I max that out. Like I maximally don't care. It's out of my mind forever. And so she was selling this product I didn't care about. And so I kept ignoring her. And so for months, I blew her off just completely. And then one day I was at home leading a sales call on the phone and she was on it. And of all the people there, I realized that of all the salespeople on the call, there was really only one salesperson on the call. And so I abruptly ended it early after I was like quizzing her, and she thinks I was picking on her. I wasn't very motivated to lead that call, so I made sure she led it. She was the best one on there anyways, including me. I hung up and I called Joe and I said, hey, what was that girl's name again? And how do I get a hold of her? And it sort of started from there. And I said, hey, you ever heard about federal workers' comp? She said, no. But she used to be a prolific marketer for a personal injury lawyer. And the numbers that she said she produced are things I've never even heard of before. And so she started learning how to do it. We placed her in a bunch of offices, and I found out that she was the best marketer in the history of what we do. And I thought it was me prior to that. And so then I tricked her into marrying me, and here we are.
Did you talk to Mark before we met?
I wish I would have, Lisa.
He always says I tricked her. She wanted a financial advisor. I wanted a wife, and I tricked her into marrying me. So that
right, yeah. But you ask also how we balance a family. I think that's a good one for Jeanie because she is like the ultimate balancer of the family. Without her, nothing works in this house.
I mean,
how do you do that?
I mean, it wasn't easy at first. I handle everything inside the home, bills, construction, anything that you can think of. I handle all of that so he could focus on building the business with my help. Once he builds a business, then I take what he's built and then I help execute it as much as I possibly can. So
we have 4 sons.
Yeah.
They're pretty self-sufficient since they're all over the age of 20, almost over the age of 21. So they don't need a lot. They're not baby birds anymore. So we can leave them and they can even take care of the dog. So it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Jeanie, you said something that is so incredibly important. You did whatever was necessary so that Chris can focus and could focus.
Yeah.
Tell me what that looked like and what that felt like for you, because I think there's a lot of women who are in that position. They're a lot younger. They're starting out. They have babies, and they're saying, "But there's no paycheck for what I do. There's no gratitude for what I do, and we do this together. But I'm the one doing all the stuff that doesn't get the trophy at the end of the day." What did that feel like? And how did you navigate through those times with 4 kids when you're exhausted? It's a lot to handle and it's tiring.
I have to say that it honestly, a lot of people don't believe that I say this. It literally comes naturally to me to handle everything in the home because he really needs to focus on building everything. I handle from the minute we get up, and he handles the business from the minute he gets up. But how do I say it? We're a team. I think that's what it is. We bounce off of each other and we complement each other. My weaknesses, he picks up. His weaknesses, I pick up. So, and no one would ever know what our weaknesses are, unless you ask us what our weaknesses are. Like, I fear public speaking. And people laugh because they're like, no, you don't. I really do. He doesn't. His fear is one-on-one conversations. Mine is not that way. I mean, my background is I'm an RN at heart. And then moving into the marketing field, I had to get out of my comfort zone, talking to people one-on-one. And, he doesn't like that. And again,
no, I love for her to do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, he wants me to do that. But then when we're doing our training for federal employees, you're not going to catch me on the stage training because I just have that fear. Well, I fill in what he may miss or what we're supposed to remember together. So I think it isn't easy. It wasn't easy at the beginning. But like I said, we're a team and it kind of just fell together on the whole thing. Like I said, it just comes naturally. I have no problem being the mom, the housewife, and all of that stuff. That's not a problem to me because I know his responsibilities and, what we have to do together. But when he's in his zone and we put it together, it works just fine.
But let me add to that, Lisa, because you said something to the effect of how does it feel to be doing a job that doesn't feel like you're getting paid for, right? And this is, I think, the most important part that she didn't say. The reason we have a franchise with 65 plus offices is because she changed the way I thought about how we promote our business. I was talking in front of groups of like 12, 15 people. And right away she said, well, why don't you sit in front of rooms of 100 people? I said, well, I don't know, because I don't know how to get into them. She knows how to get into these rooms. And so she opens the door and I walk in. But the other thing she did is she created our social media. You know, Mark always jokes that she's on social media more than the Kardashians. And that's probably true. But she came to me in 2016 and said, why don't we do this Facebook Live and talk about workers' comp? And I said, that's the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard. I'm really good at this, and I don't know if I can make that boring topic exciting, right? And but we did it anyways. And so now we have 18,000 followers and millions of views every year. And we have, I think, saved the lives of more than 16,000 people. But because she created so much demand that the 5 or 6 or 7 offices that I was a part of wasn't even close. It wasn't enough. And so it was like Thanksgiving of 2018. And while everybody else is eating and watching football, I have my laptop on my lap and I'm recreating our company because it wasn't a franchise. And I said, we've got to franchise this company. We've got to grow faster. And the fastest way to do it is make it cheaper for the doctors. But that just means we need a lot more of them if we're going to get wealthy as well. And so from that day forward, we just started building and building and building. But it all happened because she had a really great idea on how to do marketing for this thing that I thought I was the best in the world at it. And it turns out it was her. So she gets paid. And I also tell her that the strongest contract I have in my life is my marriage contract, the marriage license. It's the strongest contract I have. So we're doing it together.
Yeah.
And she gets probably about 80%. I get 20%.
Yeah, we never, like, as far as like me being separate, like when he's doing the business, I never feel that, oh, I'm not getting enough or he's making more, because we don't think that way. It's just one paycheck for both of us. And as long as we're doing it together and we're helping the people that need to be helped, that's all that matters to us.
You just said something that was a wow statement. 16,000 lives were saved. What does that mean?
Well, in federal workers' comp, the norm is that a person gets hurt and then they get abused by management. The system crushes them.
Yes.
Their claims never get accepted. They lose time, they lose money, and many of them commit suicide. That's a fact. And those stories you don't hear about. You don't hear about the TSA agent or officer that jumped off the 3rd floor at the airport. You don't hear about the mail carrier that hung herself in the back of her mail van.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear about these stories, but we do. We hear about them all the time, and it's tragic. And so when people come to me, to us, to our company, we turn it all around for them. I just looked at the most recent results of work injuries for federal employees. The stats is 2023. They're slow. They haven't caught up. But in 2023, just under 7% of federal employees had an accepted injury claim.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
terrible.
Horrible.
It's awful, right? And so, like, are really only 7% of people hurt? Of course not.
Right.
At our company, it's 95%. We just crush it. And we really take the supervisors out back all the time, out behind the woodshed, I like to say. And because of that, they get all their benefits, they get paid, they get back to work, and they don't feel like they need to kill themselves. It's just it's a fact. Yeah. And we're able to really help people get better and stay alive. We're literally saving their life.
There was such a massive deficit in this industry, and you really saw the need to help. We can't live without these people. We can't survive without these people. No. And it's what was the biggest challenge as you were growing so quickly? Because opening up 65 franchises, as anyone knows, they can implode. The whole thing can collapse. And I feel interviewing so many people, sometimes people feel it's better to leave it how it is and we're doing good in the world rather than let's try to go bigger, for fear that the whole thing is going to fall apart. What gave you the fortitude? How did you balance everything? What were the greatest challenges you had in onboarding and systems? And then trusting other people, right? Because you can't be in 65 places at one time. trusting those other people to do what clearly you two are the best of the best to do what you do.
I'll tell you, I love this question too. I was just telling Jeannie the other day that of all things I could have done, and I do not suffer from a lack of cockiness. Like, I know for sure I'm the best in the world at what I do, but I know that if I did something else, I'd probably be the best at that too. I could have done anything. But I got into this, and only by accident, because I didn't initially want to be in federal workers' comp. I didn't even know about it until 2007. And I said, what's this Department of Labor thing, when I was still in Texas? And it is the riskiest thing that I could possibly do, because you said it. I can't be in 65 places. I've got a great system. I've got a compliance program that beats Medicare. Like, it's better than anything that's ever been done. And still I lose sleep at night, because it's like, I'm not there. I don't know. Are they following the plan? Are they following the plan? And in my business, if you make a mistake, they call it fraud.
Yeah.
And they punish that with an orange jumpsuit. It's really, really scary to be me. Add to that because of what we do, the government's paying tens of millions of dollars more of claims every year than what they were before. That's a drop in the bucket when you're trillions of dollars in deficit. But the Department of Labor notices it, I guarantee you. And every time we open an office in a new location, a new state, the management of that agency just goes crazy.
They don't like it.
They're angry. They start filing complaints with the Office of Inspector General. They start filing complaints with postal inspectors. They write letters to everybody that they can write a letter to say, hey, look at these people, federal interest centers. They must be doing something wrong, because all they do is win.
Yeah.
And what they don't see is, in the background, we've got a compliance program that's unmatched. Like, I would never share it with my competitor, because I don't want them to be as good as me. I want to be the best at everything. And it's very scary doing what I do. I can't lie. I lose a lot of sleep all the time over it, all the time.
Yeah.
Jeannie, you and I married the same man.
I know.
We married the same man. Best compliance team. I don't think there's anybody better at what he does than Mark Murphy. He's incredible.
I know for sure that's true.
That's true.
And works with the best of the best. And I think that's what makes our business so incredibly unique, is we really do work with the best of the best in so many different fields and combine our networks. And we've created that network that allows everybody to network within our network and share a lot of the frustrations that you do as well. To be the best doesn't mean it's always easy. It means we wear a great smile, but there's a lot of pain that goes with the success. And I feel from a leadership position, most people want what we have, but are unwilling to do what we do to have it. And
absolutely.
Will you kind of touch on that? Because we hear all the time, you're so lucky. I believe I'm blessed. I absolutely believe I'm blessed with great health and incredible man that loves me and amazing children. We're blessed. But I don't think luck has been any part of this whatsoever. It's been grit, hard work, exhaustion at some points, and mentorship, really talking to people. It didn't have to be the same field, but people who are great at what they do, to understand the edge that we have that most people don't know exists. Can you talk about some of that?
We haven't been lucky.
Yeah, this is not luck whatsoever.
And we considered bankruptcy at least 3 times along the way.
Yeah.
We were living just day to day for the longest time, but knowing that this was worthwhile. This is a worthy cause. And we were, with our 2 partners, really rationing dollars in the beginning.
Yep.
Just, hey, what do you need this month just to survive? That's how we lived for the first couple of years. It was never based on luck, but I'd rather you answer the question. Like, what do you see from me, the work that, the luck? How did that happen?
I don't think it's not luck in any way. I mean, it's sleepless nights. It's wondering, are the feds going to come knocking at our door saying, your office didn't do something? I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of envy in what we do. We know it, friends, family, but everybody's like, oh, you guys are so lucky. Oh, look at them. It's not. And you're right. It's a blessing in disguise that came to us. But it is nerve wracking because we could wake up one day and we get some news. Maybe an attorney will say something to us and we're like, oh boy. Or we can wake up one day and patients are happy. But the word lucky, that's not us.
No,
that's not us at all. It's hard work that we've put in years and years. I mean, like he said, trying to file bankruptcy, trying to feed families in our company, with all of our employees, making sure that they get paid before we get paid. It's been even today we still struggle with a lot of stuff, with what's going on. And people don't understand. They just see us that we travel so much, that we take pictures and we're just having fun and we're always on vacation. And we tell them this is not vacation. We're actually working. Maybe we may take a day or two and just go sightseeing, but that's about it. There's no luck behind what we do.
Lisa, we're on airplanes an average of about 54 times every 52 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's been that way for the last 5 years. And so, and this, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you said it. You're doing things that other people are unwilling to do. Most people are unwilling to be on an airplane twice a week, be away from their family. We travel, she says, so that our boys have a place to live. We barely live here.
Yeah.
I'm surprised my dog remembers me.
There was a joke years ago that if you sat next to me on an airplane, one way or the other, you were going to be in my business. And it was the law of just numbers, of averages. Yeah. I was always flying. To meet my clients. And of course, you're going to talk to the people that you're sitting next to. And I think people don't understand. They just don't understand. We live in the airport. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've made it work for the amount of times we are stranded, and we can't get worked up. I can't use one extra cell going toward what could have happened, the flight we should have been on. It's like, wow, I have 5 hours to read all this stuff that I never get a chance to read. And Mark and I have just committed to knowing that that's just par for the course. I mean, there's no way around it. To be willing to accept all that comes. And the one thing that we didn't go through was almost having to file bankruptcy. What was that like 3 times? And did it put a strain on your relationship? How did the kids handle it? Did you lose employees saying, you know what, I'm done with this mom and pop, I'm going elsewhere? What was that like for you guys? Because I think, especially today, right? That's a reality for most businesses.
So starting with the last thing about the employees, we've grown in employees. We've never shrunk in employees. And the other thing I'm very proud of, we have great people, but what I'm really proud of is we've got a 0% turnover rate. Nobody's ever left our company.
Not one person.
My philosophy is love everybody. And my employees feel loved. I even tell them. So they're always good. We took care of them first. Our sons were relatively unfazed by it because they do whatever they want to do. She and I would be at each other a little bit because I was insufferable.
Yeah.
I was like, I could not be dealt with. I grew up very poor, very poor, very, very poor. And I said, that's never going to be me again. And then in the times where I felt like I was going in that direction, I just couldn't handle it. I have no tolerance for that. It feels like losing. So it does definitely make you work harder, but we managed to be okay. I mean, we bickered on money.
Yeah, like any regular couple, you're gonna have your arguments because if somebody says no, I don't fight with my spouse. I mean, like we always joke around with it. Like what's the word I'm looking for? Like one is going to be angry, and one has to just make sure the other one is taking care of the other one, so they're not losing their mind. And I think that's why we're so close in what we do. So like I said at the beginning, we complement one another. So when I know he's stressed out, he lets me know, hey, like I just got off of a bad call. Just give me a couple, and I understand that he's going to need some space. And then we're okay. I just have to make sure that I'm being positive when he's not being positive and vice versa.
I can be super high strung.
Yeah.
But it looks like this.
Yeah.
So you have to be her to know it. Her mom, it's so funny. She comes on our live feeds every once in a while. She says, tell Chris to smile. And this is what I do. I say, I am. My smile.
But I think that's so important that couples don't do that often enough. And I don't know if they are good at it. We have to work to walk each other off the ledge sometimes. And even if you don't feel like it, too tired, had a hard day myself, if Mark's not in a good place, they say happy wife, happy life. Well, I don't know. When you run a huge firm and you have tens of thousands of clients and handle billions and billions of dollars, you have to be in a good place almost all the time. And there's real life that gets in the way. And I think we, especially being blended, and second time around for both of us, have really had to figure out that dance quickly to make all of this work. And I think that's something that we've mastered as well. And I didn't really think about it until you just said it. And that's vitally important. If you know your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whomever is not in a great place, that's time for you to get in a good place.
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. And that's really living inside a promise. This is the promise I have to myself and other people. And this is the path. And we can't fall off the path. So it's whatever it takes to keep walking towards something that has not happened yet, which is the promise we make. So how do people find you? How is it word of mouth? How does your business continue to grow? Do you buy a franchise? How does all of that work?
We have two marketing paths that we have to go on at all times. We're marketing to doctors to grow the franchise, and we're marketing to patients to let them know there's doctors, right? So we have to do both.
Yeah.
But we also walk a fine line on the patient side because we can't directly market for any of our franchisees because we get paid royalties and percentages. And so they call that kickback in healthcare, and that's illegal. So I can't promote an individual office, so I have to teach them to do it for themselves. I have to teach them to go hunt and kill themselves, right? And some of our franchisees are straight up assassins. They just do it so well. And others are lazy sloth, or whatever is slower than that. That's them. We have all of them.
Yeah.
But so that's how people find us. And they find us on social media. We've got an internal marketing. We were at one of Sean's events, right? Black Diamond Club. And he had Sam Taggart up there, like the most prolific door-to-door salesman of all time. And he said to somebody in the audience, how do you get patients? And he said, let me guess, referrals. She said, yeah. And he goes, right. So you hope that you grow. You use hope, right? And it hit me really hard because I have a saying. I have a series of things I call Chrisisms. These are things Chris says all the time. One of those is hope is not a strategy. And I heard that and I said, okay, I got to build an internal marketing program that doesn't rely on hope. And so we've got 12 things that every patient can do to grow the practice. I train it over and over and over and over. And I just pound it into my franchisees' heads. And we actively, purposefully cause our patients to refer their friends.
Yeah.
It's impossible for our patients not to refer 3 people. Impossible. And so that's how we do it. But social media is a great way too. I mean, like I said, we're a franchise as big as we are because of social media. And so that's another way. And I think that's where everybody's hanging out anyways. They're not hanging out at wherever people used to hang out. I don't know. But in my town where I grew up, it was at a gas station. But they hang out online now. And that's how we just go and find them.
Yeah. In the business, his job with our other partners is to find the doctors, but then together, my lane, I go and find the unions and let them know, hey, we're here. This is what we do, and your people need help. So he has 2 roles that he plays. Well, 3. Not only builds the business, but helps with the sales and finding the doctors because it's not easy. And then we're on the marketing side for our company. So I mean, no one sees the rest of the partners, which we're so grateful for, because they do all the stuff that no one sees, all the back end stuff. And then we're the face of the company. It can get scary sometimes because we are out there putting ourselves out there to the federal government.
Nobody in this country has a larger target on their back than I do.
Yeah.
Nobody. You'd have to be a murderer to have a bigger target on your back.
Yeah.
Because I'm really doing a lot of damage to the system that's doing a lot of damage to the people. And I teach them to fight back. And so everyone's fighting for it. But I want to just add to what she said. We were in Salt Lake City a couple of weeks ago and meeting with this group called the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, which is like the best group in the world to be a part of. And I was with Dr. Wood, who's our franchisee, and she walked away from the two of us and she's talking to these two complete strangers. And he goes, should we go over there with her? And I said, heck no, this is what she does. Leave her alone. You know, she's so good at it. Next thing you know, we have meetings set up with new people and then you get new patients.
Do you feel like you've arrived? And what does the next 20 years look like for you? And do you plan on ever retiring?
Yeah, so absolutely. Absolutely. When I was younger, I said I want to retire at 50. I just turned 50, so that didn't happen. But now I don't want to retire. Like now I kind of love what I'm doing. And it is wonderful that I get to work with her. I freaking love it. It is the best thing ever. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on a podcast and people are listening. Like seriously, it's the best thing ever. But down the road, I see myself being not part of this company.
Yeah.
I'm building it now to sell it.
One day. Yeah.
One day. But I got to put it in the condition to where it's better when I'm gone than it is now when I'm here.
Yeah.
Right. It has to be better when I leave. That's my legacy. And then we're building another company right now with Sean that is a different lane, but same patient base for mental health. And that'll be what's next for us to make sure that right now we're taking care of the physical problems, but I want to take care of the mental problems as well.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about it. So that'll be what's next.
Well, we need it, especially now. We need it. The world needs it. I mean, it's never been like this. And if you didn't have all the practice doing just the practice with regulating your emotions to get to where you are, you would never be able to take on that next huge project. So it's, I think that learning that we're willing to accept that's part of it in order to do what's next. And everything that you've learned along the way, we never die from feelings. The feeling of what if it goes away tomorrow? You'll make it work. You know what it's like to have money. You'll always make it back. And I feel that the energy of money, people don't master their emotions around it. And if they let their emotions get away, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You go bankrupt. So to almost do it and to have each other and get through it, to almost get there and not, and keep bouncing back, you've already mastered that. And I hear Mark all day, every day. It's like, I tell him, you need a degree in mental health for some of the stuff that you do, because that's what he's doing all day is counseling people, and his firm does as well, counseling people that you have to stay emotionally fit through the hardest times. This is not the time to break down. This is not the time to surrender. This is the time when you're exhausted and mentally spent, that you have to work harder than you've ever worked before and somehow dig up that energy to attract the right people. So you've mastered that, because you don't almost go bankrupt 3 times and it just miraculously turns around. Chris, I know you're smiling right now.
I'll tell you what, Lisa, I've been broke and I've made money, and I prefer to have a lot of money.
There's nothing wrong with it. The world needs
nothing
abundance.
Wrong with it. Yes, it's not the most important thing to me at all. The most important thing to me in the world is her. The next most important thing to me in the world is all of our kids and family. And after that, it literally is the federal employees. Yeah. That's what matters most to me. And you do a good job, you'll make a lot of money. And I think we're doing a really great job.
I love that you are talking about money this way, because we talk about this all the time on this show. the world cannot survive on poor people, poor in spirit,
right.
poor in just in generosity, being withholding. And I always said this, and Mark uses this now, and you may have heard him say it. When I made just enough money and people were saying, why are you still working 17, 18-hour days? You never stop working. I had enough for me and mine, but I wanted enough for all of you. And the only way you do that is you keep going and going and going. And yeah, as a result, we create abundance, but it's really about giving back. It certainly is for us. And we had this conversation last night. How much money is enough money? It's not about the money anymore. It's about the lives that we change on a daily basis. And that's really what Northeast is. It's changing lives on a daily basis. So
without question,
how has what we do impacted your life and your success?
Oh, wow.
So there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of Mark Murphy.
That's so true.
That's not a lie.
We got so blessed having to have met him. So blessed.
I said I grew up poor. I'm the only person in my entire family tree with a college degree. And I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know what to do with it. I never had any. And then when I started getting it in like large chunks at a time, I was like, what do I do with this money? And at the exact same time that started to happen, I met Sean Dill and was introduced to Mark Murphy.
Yeah.
And everything changed for me then. And just by the way, Mark has helped me with some really important things that have nothing to do with money. And if I could have had Mark as family my whole life, I'd probably be a billionaire right now.
Wow.
He's an incredible human.
He literally has changed our lives in more ways than one. It's unreal to think if we did not meet him, where we would be.
I actually have water in my eyes right now.
Yeah, we choke up when we're like, oh, thank God for Mark. Like he literally saved us from a lot of things in our company and, you know, financially, personally. But we were just like, wow, where would we be without him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am so incredibly grateful to him. And I called him for the same reasons you called him and married him. So I get it. And I'm really, what I love in being part of all of this is the friendships that we make along the way with like-minded people who really care. And I'm really excited to see you guys in a couple of weeks and spend some time and hanging out. And I just want to thank you. I know your time is precious, and I know that we are going to blast this out everywhere so people now hear more about you and what it is that you do. And I want to personally thank you because we can't survive without those people. And if not for you, where would they be? Where would their families be? Where would we be? And you guys are amazing. We cherish you. We cherish your friendship. And I want to thank you wholeheartedly for getting on today.
Thank you, Lisa. This has been a real gift to us.
Yeah,
so thank you.
It has been.
Well, thank you. And I will, I'll let Mark know I did him proud, okay?
Yes,
you did.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. Once again, I'm Lisa D. Murphy, and this is Elevate Wellness.